Welcome to part 2 of my declutter slash vanity tour. If you have not already seen part 1, I definitely recommend watching that because I'm also talking about my no-buy and kind of where I'm at right now as far as buying makeup is concerned, which I am on a no-buy, so, but I go a little bit more in depth on, why I decided to do that and what's been going on with me. So definitely check out part 1 because that also has the first part of my eyeshadow palette tour on it. So let's get right into part 2. Alright, so we did pretty good on that drawer. Next, all my lipsticks. We'll save those for another day because some of these I know are old, like these Maybellines over here are definitely old. Got a bunch of ColourPop, and then all my Jeffree Stars and Wet n Wilds because they are my favorite, and my Kylie's are up here on the top because I use them the most. Next we have the very deep ones, and I'm gonna have to sit down for this to get to them. All right, so this first giant one is very big, and it is one of my magnetic palettes, which I was talking about before with all the colors. This giant palette is from Adept Cosmetics, and I did get this on Amazon. I apologize for the weird angle, but I've got my camera facing down, and then I'm having to look over to this side of it to see that it's actually in frame. So I apologize for that. All right. And then I have another magnetic palette from Amazon. This has got my blues and greens in it, and a couple old Maybelline palettes that I'm going to need to throw away because they're super old, but arranging by color, I just forget that stuff is there and I'm not inspired. So this is a Z palette that I got before I stopped supporting Z palette because they told off some of their customers. If you don't know about that, look it up because I'm sure the drama channels did stuff on it. So these are the other Maybelline City mini palettes that I was talking about, and another old Maybelline palette that I depotted. And again, this is pretty old. I'm probably going to throw it out. Oh, and I just noticed that purple just broke. Eek. Has a big hole in it. Unfortunately, when you depot using the oven, it does make them unstable. But they're glued, so that's the best way to get them out. So this is the Carity Posh palette. I got it because of the purples and also the beautiful golds. I am going to be decluttering it just because I never reach for it. Some close-ups here of that. I have used it a couple times and you can see some fingerprints in it, so I'll definitely need to disinfect it, but they're really pretty. Just a lot of shades that I have in other palettes. Next we have the Too Faced White Peach palette, and this is, I think I want to say, the first Too Faced palette that I got, and I do think that it's really pretty, like the pinks and the oranges. It's a pretty unique palette. It's not really peach scented anymore. Sorry, there's a lot of glare and it's not showing the, so I'm gonna do a close-up here with my vlog camera. Get the peach passion colors, really pretty. I really love these, and this will definitely, this shade right here, Peach Ice, oh my goodness. Oh, and that shade, like, this is just really pretty and a very underrated palette in my opinion. This will definitely be part of the Love Your Stash 2020. Next, we have the Tartist Pro palette. I was so excited when I got this. At the time it was the most expensive palette I had ever purchased, and I do still love it. There's that matte orange that I was saying was like a classic in all the not Too Faced, all the Tarte palettes. This is the original Pro palette, and it's got some of those foil shades and then some really pretty mattes. I don't use this as often as I should, but I did use it. You can tell I used it quite a bit when I didn't have as much prestige makeup, so I will be keeping this one just for nostalgia. Alright, next is Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This is absolutely one that is a classic that I do not use enough. I'm gonna see if I can fix the lighting because it's glaring too much when I try to show them on my good camera. But it's just great everyday colors with some bright pinks popped in there, and I will be keeping this. I did actually get this for free from Ulta for being a platinum member for like 5 years. I traded it in for the gift that the gift that they did give us. So if you're interested in that, I do have a story time video from when I very first started my channel that I'll link to in the description box. So there's Modern Renaissance. I'll be holding on to this one. And this is the It Cosmetics Naturally Pretty. And it does have a soft, squishy, velvety outside packaging, much like Modern Ren. This is some very pretty mattes, and what's really cool about this is it has this transforming pearl that you can put over top of any of these mattes and it will make them shimmery, which was kind of gimmicky, and I think that's kind of what turned me on to it. Yeah, and I just never used it, and I think I've used it twice. I thought I was going to use it more for work because I thought I would be doing more like neutral looks, but I'm still me. So I'm going to be decluttering this one, and it is a nice palette. I love It Cosmetics. It's just not a great palette for me. Next up we have the Norvina palette, and she is beautiful just like Modern Ren. It's that same formula that can be a little tricky to work with, but I do think it's an absolutely gorgeous palette. This shade right here, Summer, and the shade Rose Gold, so beautiful. But you can tell, like, I've used this maybe 3 times max, and it looks like I've really dug in there. So it is a much softer formula. It does make it a little bit harder to work with, but overall I think it's a really pretty palette, and I need to use it more. It'll definitely be part of the Love Your Stash 2020 series. Too Faced Sweet Peach. This I won in an Instagram giveaway, and this one does smell like peach. Oh my god, I dropped it, but it's okay. Holy shit. She just jumped right out of my hand. So this is not one that I would have bought for myself, but I really like it. I love the peach scent. I'm a big fan of peach scented things, but I'm just not a huge Too Faced fan overall. I'm more of a Tarte person, and I feel like they're comparable brands. People tend to like one more than the other, I think. But like that shade caramelized right there, whoo. So beautiful. You can see that subtle glitter in there, and really just a beautiful palette, and I'm so glad that I won it. You know, I do a lot of Instagram giveaways and YouTube giveaways, and I enter too, and I've won a few things that I've really loved. So of course I'll be hanging on to this because it is special to me, and I'm so glad it didn't break. Oh my gosh. Next we have the Aphrodite palette from Bad Habit. This is a dupe for the Huda Rose Gold Original, and it is a pretty palette. It has
pretty good pigmentation and surprisingly a very good palette for being as affordable as Bad Habit is. I like their dupes overall, but I didn't buy the Huda Rose Gold palette because the colors didn't really speak to me, and the dupe colors don't really speak to me because they are the same as the Huda. So I am going to be decluttering this one.
Juvia's Warrior palette. I think this is the first Juvia's palette that I got, and it is so beautiful. And these pans are gigantic. Like, they are at least twice the size of a ColourPop pan, if not more. Like, I don't even think I need to do a close-up with my vlog camera because you can see how awesome these are. And I will be hanging on to this. This is a great warm brown palette. And I just love the packaging too. I love Juvia's. And in the back, we have the Pure Soiree Diaries. This came in boxy. And I don't know if you can see, but the mirror cracked. And they just gave me like BoxyCharm points for it, which kind of sucked. I do think it's a great palette. It's a nice neutral palette. I feel like these colors track a bit dark on me, which is typical with some of the darker browns. So I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. I love the marble packaging, but I'm really gonna have to think about whether or not I wanna keep it. I may end up decluttering it. And way back there in the very back is the Pure Be Your Selfie. And this is a grade like pinky neutral. This,
I want to say I got this in FabFitFun. I really love that Confident shade right there. I really like the matte shades. I used this a bunch when I first got it, and then I like kind of put it, well, as you saw way back there in the back, and forgot about it. So I'm actually gonna pull this out and probably use it tomorrow because this is an awesome palette.
Because I have so little room, I've been turning ones on their sides and kind of sticking them in the middle between yeah, it's a mess. So here is the Revolution Reloaded Iconic Fever. Beautiful fall colors. I absolutely love the sort of yellowy orange. This is, you know, just total Stacy fall colors. That is the colors that I love on me, and I usually pick up, I can't say how much I paid for this Reloaded palette, but I usually pick them up when they're on sale at Ulta, and Ulta does a pretty good job of putting them on sale. So I'm gonna be hanging on to this guy just because like it's so affordable. Unless I like did a big Revolution declutter, I don't know that anybody would want to buy it, and I don't really know that anybody wants such an affordable palette that's already been used. So I'll be hanging on to this guy. Alright, so squished in the very front, we have Revolution Soph Does Nails, the original. And I was not sure about whether or not I wanted to declutter this. So I did use it several times, and I really love the mattes. It's such a great palette, and these two shades here, wow. Yeah, the lighting's way better for where I moved this. So yeah, just like if you've been thinking about getting this palette and you need some good mattes, and you like a purple and an orangey, again, like those fall autumn tones, the shade here is great. Highly recommend this palette, and it's very affordable. Revolution, what can I say? They are one of my favorite brands. This is the Revolution by Petra. I haven't had this one very long at all, but I did a get ready with me using it. I'm gonna pull out
this vlog camera so see if I can get, it's a double-sided with warm tones and cool tones, and the cool tones were looking a little extra cool in this lighting, but they're very beautiful. So it really doesn't do it justice. They look really washed out, but the cool tones are actually my favorite in this one. Beautiful palette. As soon as it came to Ulta, I picked it up, because I had been wanting it from the London site for so long and it had been sold out. So I was very happy when it came back into stock. Definitely keeping that. And another Revolution palette. This is the Jewel collection in Opulent, which I did pick up because it is another cool tone palette. I tend toward warm tones. So when I saw it, I was like, I need to give the cool tones a try. This is very similar design to their new holiday palettes that they did for Ulta. Just some pretty cool toned pinks and a little bit of a gold thrown in there. Very nice palette. Not my favorite Revolution palette, but very different than anything else that I have, so I'll be hanging on to it. It's a little bit more pigmented than it's coming off on camera. Oh, I can't get it to fit back in there. So next is the NYX Off Tropic palette. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I love this green shade and these golds. And also these two in the middle here, these mattes were really great for autumn. Definitely hanging on to this. The NYX Happy Birthday. More really pretty autumn. Grab the vlog camera here. Pretty autumn shades. A little bit cooler toned. Next up, we have the Tarte Lipped Toasted palette. This is one of my favorite fall palettes. It has those beautiful oranges that Tarte does so well, and it's probably one of my all-time favorite fall palettes, so I'll definitely be hanging on to this one, but I do need to compare some of those other Tartes that I was thinking about to this and see if maybe there's some duplicates that I have in here that I'm hanging on to another palette for and maybe we'll get rid of. The Perception palette, Makeup Shayla and ColourPop. This is one of my, I'm saying this about all of them, favorite palettes. I'm gonna do a close-up of this one. Next up, we have two Colored Rain palettes, Beauty Rust and Berry Cute. Colored Rain is one of my all-time favorite formulas, so I won't be decluttering these, but I'll give you a look at them. Berry Cute with that amazing, amazing purple shade there and that matte orange that you all know that I love by now. This Pinkleberry shade is so amazing. Every time I wear this one, people ask me what it is and give me compliments. I've gotten several compliments from people working at Sephora when I use this shade. And I think it goes really well with some of the shades in Berry Rust. This is obviously a very autumn toned palette. That orange right there, Dream is a dream. I love these mattes. Oh, it's hard for, you know, it's hard to find great mattes, and Colored Rain does an amazing matte. So definitely will be hanging on to those. Ooh, Bad Habit Pretty Poison. So Bad Habit was a dupe company that you might be familiar with. I'm gonna do some close-ups of this as well. I really do love, I mean, it's not the best formula ever, but for the price point, it's really good. Yeah, I think I will put this in my maybe pile simply because I do have a lot of purples, but I don't know that I have a lot of purples that really perform well. So I want to kind of compare it to some of the other maybes. So I'm going to put it in the maybe pile. Next we have another Revolution palette, one of the OGs, I believe. This is Neutrals versus New Neutrals, I believe. Let's see. Yes, Professional Eyeshadow Palette, Neutrals versus Neutrals. This is, let me just do a close-up of this. And behind that is another Revolution palette. This is one of the Salvation palettes. Unicorns Unite. I got this guy when it was on clearance because I'd been wanting it for a while. We'll go ahead and finish this row out. This is the first BH that I ever got, the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible. Really pretty matte shades here, and I used it a lot when I first got it. Pretty much all of these shades were too dark for me to use as a highlight unless I was using it on the eye. I love the little aspire to inspire saying on it, and that's part of the reason that I've kept it all together like this. But I think that what I'm gonna do is probably depot this and keep my favorites and then get rid of some because it's just taking up room and I literally haven't used it in, I'm sure, a year. So we'll depot that one. These are some of my singles, but let's look at some of the other full palettes before we go over to that one. Got a bunch of Revolution in this drawer. This is one of the Revolution chocolate bar palettes. This is the Cotton Candy Chocolate. I Heart Revolution. These are beautiful pastels. Very great brown shades. Over. And Revolution Pro. I do love Revolution. Let me open it so that we don't have the glare. This is the Regeneration Trends palette in the Mischief Maker. These are just really fun, bright colors. All right, so finishing out, we have the Atlantis palette, which is very dirty. This is the blue-green palette that Face Candy made as a dupe of the infamous Tarte April Fool's palette. Okay, this is on my Vanity as well. This is the Revolution Reloaded palette in Deep Dive, but it has, I think, just a little bit more colorful shades and definitely more mattes. Put them up there together and you can see that the Revolution's just a little bit more muted colors, which I do like since I'm not really a blue person. So I'm gonna be hanging on to the Revolution and decluttering the Face Candy one. Here's another Revolution Reloaded. This guy is the Velvet Rose, which I believe is supposed to be a dupe for the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Just great, warm tones. Honestly, it's very similar to ones that I already have. And I've not really touched it often, so I'm gonna put it in my maybe pile so I can compare it to some stuff that I already have and see if it's just got too many similarities. These Reloaded palettes, you'll see I do have a couple of them. We talked about it's very similar to this Reloaded Iconic Fever. Some of these used to be pretty hit and miss, but I think overall now the newer Revolution Reloaded palettes that are coming out are very, very good quality for the price. And one more Reloaded while we're talking about it. This is Neutrals 3. Now this is some really bold, pretty pinky mauve shades. I gotta get some close-ups of this because the colors are tracking, like these are tracking really yellow on this camera and this is more of a gold. So let's see if I can get this to track. It's just tracking a little bit more yellow. These golds are not quite as yellow as they're showing on camera here. But this I got on sale. It was on clearance at Ulta for like $3.49, I want to say. And it's such a pretty palette. I haven't actually touched it yet, but I do think I will hang on to it. I wish I could get these colors to show. Like this is like a deep brown. So these are tracking very differently. I may find a picture of this or take a picture of this so you can get a better idea of what the colors look like. Okay, yeah, the colors are just showing really different on camera. This is a newer Revolution favorite. This is Revolution Roxy Roxsaurus Color Burst palette. I love this palette. It may be my favorite Revolution palette. The shade here, Royal, oh God, it's so beautiful. And all of these bright pastels, like I seriously love every shade in this palette. So obviously hanging on to it. More Revolution. Are y'all getting tired of the Revolution? This is Revolution Flawless 4. And it has some pretty neutrals and pinks. Of these for you. I think I'm actually going to give this to a friend who loves pink shades, because it's just very similar to a lot that I already have. And at the time, it wasn't super similar, but since then I've gotten other palettes that I use more. I think I've used this once or twice, so I will be decluttering it for sure. Final few in this top drawer. We have Bad Habit Cult Mania, which is a dupe for Pat McGrath. It is so beautiful. I have used it once, I think, so I definitely need to play around with it more. It's so funny. I had somebody send me an Instagram message asking if I would be interested in selling it because they really wanted it and had missed it when Bad Habit went out of business. And so I'm gonna put it in the maybe pile because I may just try it out and see if I don't love it, maybe sell it to that person. So I mean, it would be silly to keep it and just have it sitting in my drawer when somebody else could be loving it. So I'll put this on the maybe pile. Got the Mallywood. I grabbed this one. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do a close-up because yeah, those colors look so bad. I think I need to adjust my colors on my big camera. I got this when it was on clearance at Ulta when they were getting rid of the Mally brand, mostly for this shade right here, Loving. It is such a gorgeous rose gold, and the rest of the colors are fine. It's really pretty packaging, and it does have a mirror, so I may depot it just because, like, I don't know, I don't reach for it, and some of these colors are boring, but that Loving shade is worth depotting and keeping just for that. Finishing out, we have the Rose Gold Chocolate. This was a gift at my bachelorette party from my BFF Lucy, so I will definitely be hanging on to this one. And the Chocolate Gold, which I won from Revolution in a contest, so I will be hanging on to this one as well just because they are both special to me for those reasons. The final drawer is a little bit messier. I'm gonna adjust my camera. This has a mixture of some highlights and stuff, which this is gonna be a palette only. So we won't talk about any of the face or blush palettes today. We've got the Siennas by Profusion, which again is just the colors that I use all the time, and that's why I bought it, because it's the kind of colors I'm attracted to. But frankly, it's so similar to other colors that I have, I do need to declutter it. The NYX Bangkok. I had two of these and I depotted one, and this foam backing here does not depot well, so I did hang on to this. This is some cool tone purples and a couple blushes. I forget to reach for it, but I do love these shades. Yeah, I just ruined the other pans on the other NYX that was like this trying to depot it, so unfortunately it takes up a lot of space for. Alright, we have the Kylie Peach palette. I love this palette. I was surprised to like Kylie as much as I did. Anyway, Thank you all for watching. Please be sure to follow me on Instagram because I am a lot more active there, even though I am not posting a daily picture anymore. You can also subscribe if you want to see when I have new content. I am definitely not quitting YouTube. There will be new content. It's just not going to be weekly. You can always hit that bell if you'd like to get a notification when I do have a new video up. So thank you all for watching. I love you all. I appreciate all of your support, and thank you for watching. And I will see you next time.